York, big city of dreams. New York, big city of dreams.
What's going on? This is Jay Ellis from the Knick Time Show here, giving you that Knicks talk just in Knick Time, and I'm just glad to be back, fighting through technical difficulties, internet issues, and all that. But we are back. We talking Knicks news, and we got a lot to cover. But before we cover it, because we're gonna talk about it all, we're gonna talk about Mikal Bridges signing. We're gonna talk about Hartenstein being gone. We're gonna talk about Walter Kessler. We're gonna talk about a smidge about the Knicks rookie news. We're gonna talk about all that, but before we do that, I'm gonna introduce you to our guys. First and foremost, let's get to the Latin assassin, my guy Lee Escobedo, the fresh KOT hat. What's going on, Lee? Looking snazzy.
I am jumping now into today's very hot takes.
Wow. Jumping out this would not be a KOT show if we did not have Lee with a hot take. All right. Next, we got our girl, former rookie of the year, ex-D1 baller, our girl Ebony, our woman Ebony. I'm sorry, didn't mean to disrespect you, Queen. How you doing, Ebony?
I'm good, chilling. Loving my team, loving on my team right now.
All right.
Feels good to be a Knick fan.
Yeah. And also, we have best mod in the game. All right. Mr. NBA Economy over here. He runs his own little channel called NBA Economy. Sorry, not disrespect your channel. He runs his own channel, up and coming, getting 1,000 views. Don't think I didn't see that. Don't think I didn't. I got my ears in the streets. All right. Our guy Fritz Alessandor, the resident KOT capologist, joining the show. What's going on, Fritz?
Hey, what's up? Off season is never the off season.
Exactly. It's never off. It's on or on. All right. Let's get to it. So we got a lot to cover before we do that. Shout out to the chat, man. I know y'all miss us. We miss y'all too. Shout out to Knicks Nation TV, Robert Paris, Wayne Patterson, John Guertez, Gamer Channel. Everybody else is rocking with the KOT show. All right. If you like the channel, hit that like, subscribe. We're gonna be here talking about Knicks news. All right. Let's get to it. All right. First and foremost, we got to talk about Mikal Bridges. Because if you did not know, the Mikal Bridges trade is officially official. All right. There was some news about the trade where if the Knicks did not send out at least $5 million, the Knicks would be capped at the first apron, which was bad news for us because the first apron is pretty much, what is it, $16 million less than the second apron? Is that right, Fritz?
It's around there, yeah.
Around $16 million less than
11, I think it's 11 and 12. It's 11 and 12 difference.
Okay. This is why you're here, all right? $11 and $12 million less than that second apron. And it's very complicated. There was all these sorts of rules, like you couldn't double up 2 minimum contracts. You couldn't, that was one of the biggest rules. You couldn't double up minimum contracts. And because of that, a lot of Nets fans thought that Deuce McBride would be involved in the trade. But long behold, Brock Aller and Leon Rose found a loophole of all loopholes. Sign and trade. What did they sign and trade again? Sign and trade. I'm having a memory. Shake Milton to the Nets. And was able to move our apron to the second apron and free up around $11 million more in cap space. I got to give gunshot to Leon Rose and Brock Aller for working magic. They combined a minimum contract with a trade exception to get it done. They found a loophole. And I'm just glad that we have smart people on our team. I'm just glad. So the trade officially ends up being New York receives Mikal Bridges, Bates Diop, and a 2026 second round pick. And the Brooklyn Nets received Bogdan, who was not like a core member, Milton, who's not a core member, Yakite for unprotected first, a protected first round pick from the Bucks, and a pick swap. So I haven't really talked about it, so I want to get your thoughts on it. Lee, what do you think about the trade in general? And what do you think about the billions of Mikal and Leon Rose?
This is the second best stretch of Leon Rose's executive career. The first one was being when he first got hired, and his first hiring was Brock Aller. And he got Brock Aller in for a reason. I'm sure as an agent, he was plugged into the incoming CBA. And he also wanted to make sure that the Knicks did not repeat the missteps of yesteryear, where they did on these bad contracts, and it straps them from being able to have flexibility, most notably around Carmelo Anthony. They had so many bad business decisions and bad contracts that made it impossible to build around a superstar in Melo, and he ended up underachieving every year because of the cast characters that was around him. Now we have the best capologist in NBA, and him and Leon. This flurry of moves, starting with Mikal Bridges, going into the draft, the way that the draft was utilized, trading back and then trading for multiple second-round picks, up until being able to include Shake Milton into the deal and getting back Diop, who Tom Thibodeau drafted in Minnesota and who played high school ball, competing against Jalen Brunson in the city of Chicago. This was a brilliant set of moves that, in my opinion, already has Leon Rose as a front runner for Executive of the Year, because every single facet of what an executive does, signing, trading, and drafting, Leon showed a masterclass A+ in all three. So I don't know who is going to win, but I know who should win, and that's my main man, Leon Rose.
Yeah, I agree. Masterful move. I couldn't believe they pulled that off. And this is one of those moves that no one even saw coming. Nobody had Mikal Bridges on their bingo card. Nobody saw her coming. So for them to pull that off, for Mikal to pull the strings behind the scenes and say, I want to become a New York Knick, and for the Knicks to execute the way they did, did they plan that ahead last year by signing Shake Milton just to sign and trade him and get him a bag in Brooklyn? Like massive. So they're playing chess, like somebody in the chat said. They're playing chess while everybody's playing checkers. So he did a great job.
Exactly. I definitely, the only thing that I had against Leon this whole tenure was I thought he was letting Tibbs go wild at a point. Not all right, Tibbs, play the guys or something. Stepping in type of vibes. But other than that, I've been on the Leon Rose train for a minute, because he has shown us that he does do his due diligence. He does, doing a deal with somebody who got a lawsuit, let you know what kind of mastermind
this man
is. That should tell you, picking up two people at the right before trade deadline that were waived off the waivers or G League, and then making sure that those two people are in the trade to get you the player that you want, without getting rid of the people that you want still on your team. And then what is being overlooked, and I've noticed before with the Obi trade, right when he did it with Obi, and then followed up with RJ and quickly, when he knows he can't pay you and he knows that you're not going to be a part of the team, he doesn't stick you in places that you can't go and thrive and get your money.
Good point.
He sent Obi to a pass first point guard. So he can his cutting and skills can be used the way.
Got Obi a bag.
IQ got his bag, able to show that he can be that guy. He can be a high level scorer. He can do it. If he has a better role, he can produce. And then you see Shake got waived. Didn't know where his next paycheck probably was coming from. Didn't know what his next team, what his next role was going to be. Let's sign you and get you a opportunity to have a bigger role and guarantee money on top of that. So now you know where your next job is and your next money. That is all good for people from the outside looking in. Anybody else want to join us, they know that they're going to be taken care of no matter what your role is. You could be not playing or part of the rotation. They're going to look out for you.
That's a fact.
So yeah, I like it. I like it. And to do it, real quick, I just want to talk about the CBA. I didn't think this type of trade would happen. Because of the CBA, I knew when we were getting all those picks that's what we were trying to do, that we were never going to use these picks. We were trying to mimic what Ainge did with Rudy Gobert. I knew that off the bat that they were going to use all those picks to get the guy that they wanted to keep, who they have already. That's smart. So I know
Yeah.
I hear people saying that we gave up a lot, but it's not a lot when you think of it. And we still kept we still built our future. You worried about our future. We did pretty good in the draft. I know we're going to talk about that.
Yeah.
We still have our draft picks. And is it an overpay if that that piece is your final piece? Is a fit. So you can't. I think our version of value has to really flip, because am I going to pay? Do you just pay somebody for being a shiny player or a shiny ball, as I like to call it, or do you pay the person that's the best fit to take your team to the next level?
You know what it is too? We did not disrupt our core whatsoever. I think that's the thing that's being ignored here. Usually, whenever we talked about, even like the Paul George episode, which is a really good episode that never went out because the Mikal Bridges thing happened like right before, like literally, it was uploaded and I was about to hit upload, and not even exaggerating, not even put extra sauce on it. Lee sends a text on the group chat, holy Mikal Bridges. And I was just like, wait, what? I'm like happy, I'm like, wait, the episode, but yeah. So it's like, we did not give up any of our core. And now we're looking up, we have two of the best wing defending tandems in the NBA, two of the best 3-and-D wing defending tandems in the NBA. With two people who I did not expect Leon Rose to even trade for. Who even saw the OG trade coming? To go from the OG trade where we're suing them, into the Brooklyn trade where we didn't even trade with them since 1983 on a back-to-back year is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And I know Fritz has some thoughts to say. What do you have to say, Fritz?
Well, Leon isn't sleeping on the couch, like the memes say.
Let him know.
Also with Leon, people take him seriously, because with Leon, when he put out this trade, they didn't try to get a competing offer. Like, he got the offer and they accepted it. They didn't go shop him around, say, hey, the Knicks offered me 5, you got 6. When Leon said it, he took it and ran with it. And not only that, he had the trade open-ended so that they can amend it later. So this wasn't just, they knew what Leon wanted. They knew he was serious, and everybody know he's serious from what he did with Cleveland. Cleveland tried to mess around, and they found out.
Yeah, that's exactly. I messed around and find out board. Yeah, they found out.
I mean, Leon's doing work. He got the piece they wanted at a price that was acceptable. It was a high price, but it was acceptable. They've been saving up for this. Like, you got to splurge every once in a while.
Yeah.
Yeah. It just became apparent that all the big fish, Giannis isn't coming. You know what I'm saying? Giannis isn't coming. Joel Embiid isn't coming. All the big savior guys isn't coming. So we got all these picks. We only had about a year or so to use them before they start to lose value even more. So spending while you got it, got the perfect complementary piece for these New York Knicks. Moving Dante to the bench. We can even go small at certain times, but we really did well. I really love this trade for us.
How y'all want to lose, League? How you want to lose? Which way?
Which way? Which way? When you get shot, stat. Which way?
I think something else that's gotten missed is Leon's made 3 big trades since he became executive of the Knicks. The first one was Josh Hart. He gave up 1 pick. I believe it was Charlotte's pick. It wasn't even the Knicks one. And gave up Cam Reddish. So he gave up a non-rotation player for a player that ended up being, the most minutes in the team in terms of on the court playing. Then the second trade was OG. Gave up no picks, but gave up Quickly and RJ. And then this trade for Mikal Bridges gave up only picks and gave up a non-rotation player and Bojan, who I love. Thank you for your service, my friend. But the staggering of what's going out compared to what's coming in is genius. It's not like every trade he's giving up a first rounder and he's giving up a core piece of a team. And to where eventually you're depleting your top heavy and only your starting five has talent. We have maybe the deepest currently 8-man rotation, maybe in the 21st century. I can't think of a team that's had this much talent, top to bottom, two-way talent, with the exception of Mitch. But if you start finding him on a lob, he's including that conversation too. It's an unbelievable amount of diversity in how you score as well. You just brought in the mid-range king in Mikal Bridges. You got on the block, on the elbow, and Julius Randle. You got movement shooting and Dante DiVincenzo. You got Josh Hart, who might be the best one-man transition player in the NBA. And you had the best damn point guard in the NBA and Jalen Brunson. Wow. Lights out. I didn't even include OG Anunoby in my time in that diatribe. That's how deep we are. And we did it by giving up 3 out of those 4 picks, which are probably going to be in the 20s, where we usually let. Let's not get twisted. Those are not lottery picks. Those aren't top 3 picks. Those are in the 20s. That one in 2030 might be a lottery. But looking at how Leon's maneuvering, best bet, it's not going to be.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. And I'm excited to see what this version of Mikal is too, because Mikal was a defensive monster when he was in Phoenix. Yeah, he was a guy who was like a master of just fighting over screens, getting skinny, chasing all the best fast wing guys in the NBA around the court. People been talking about how he's lost a lot of that when he came to Brooklyn, but come on, can he be inspired to play ball in Brooklyn? Come on. Come on now. Can he be inspired to play ball in Brooklyn? And yeah. Bruh. Yeah, brother Brooklyn for thinking you're getting Deuce McBride. Sorry, bro. Sorry. But
for trying to convince us that that Mikal is not a player.
Oh yeah, like everybody, if you are a competent basketball watcher, you know that role plays a huge part in how you produce.
Yep.
So they can pretend all they want that Mikal is some washed up player, but let's be real. Let's be real. He was biting off more than he can chew in Brooklyn, and he does not have to do that here. Shoot, he and freaking OG can share second unit duties if they choose to go that way. So we can still eat off of what he learned in Brooklyn, but not have to do it at as high usage rate. So like we can probably get the best out of Mikal next season out of both teams.
Yeah, because when did he do the best out of his career? When he was like a third option in Phoenix, right? So that's when his all defensive years happened. And I'm putting my head up because it just flashed like an epiphany. Like, imagine you as a player, you're getting guarded by OG for like a quarter or two. And then you got to deal with Mikal right after.
Like, that's crazy. And now.
And then Josh Hart right there. Miles McBride did too.
Shoot, and Dante's been no slouch too. Like Dante during the playoffs was shutting people. I mean, listen, we're deep.
Precious.
And Precious. And yeah, I guess we can get to Precious too. We can get to Precious too. We're just a deep team, man. We're just a deep team.
The deepest. Pause.
And like my guy Bobby Knight said, you know, good basketball, winning basketball starts with defense.
Mm-hmm. And we got that. And we got
plenty of it.
And shoot, even Julius Randle. I'll talk about him. I don't even know if we have to talk about them, but I just don't like the Julius Randle disrespect. But
same.
I feel like people have really short memories. But we got a lot to talk about.
We do.
We got a lot to talk about. Let's get into the other news. Probably the first kind of loss that we've taken.
Oof.
As a franchise, we'll get to that. Before I get to that, though, let me shout out to the chat. Shout out to the chat, man, because I miss y'all. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to Jay from PR. Nets have fans. Yeah, there's like 3 or 4 of them. But they was talking loud. They was talking mad spicy.
Yes, very loud.
Yeah. Shout out to my guy Ron and still Knicks fans, man. That's my guy.
Shout out Ron.
Hold on, man. That's my dude, yo.
I seen Queen P in the building. Shout out VS and Queen.
Mm-hmm.
I I saw my guy Dave in there too. And
Yes.
Felicia.
Shout out to Dave. Shout out to Gregory Lee. Shout out to UCD 3AD. Shout out to
Nick
East.
Yak, my
Yeah.
op.
Nick Yak. Pablo Dumas. Shout out to you, man. Shout out to you. Everybody rocking with the show. I miss you guys, man. Ebony, VSN, Jay Chill, Felicia. This is great. Everybody. Shout out you guys. I like. Still Knicks fan says Nets fans are ridiculous. They think we expect Mikal to become the savior, like he wasn't kicking everybody's tails when we had a fully healthy team. All Bridges has to do is fall in line. Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly. Shout out to my Prezi the balls too. All right. Let's get to some sad news. And I'll take with me the memories. Okay, sorry. Shout out to my guy Hartenstein. Hard to say goodbye to you, brother.
Dead.
We kind of saw this coming. I'm not gonna lie. I thought he was gone, but then when he didn't get outright signed the day of the meeting, I thought we had a chance. But what was really happening was he was getting that bag, brother. He was getting that bag because I think, question, I feel like OKC only had 30 million in the cap space to offer, right? Right, Fritz? Am I correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. So my theory is they came and they had 30 million in cap space to offer. Hartenstein was like, they were like, you know what, Hartenstein, the Knicks can only offer you 16 if they get their books right. We'll give you 22. And he was just like, that's more. But I love New York. Like, I'm not leaving New York for 22. That's better than what I'm getting, but it's not that much better. Oh, you know what? How about we give you almost double what you're making now? All right, I'm out. I think that's what happened. Because the news from Ian was if everything was close to being the same, he was staying in New York. That was the news. So they had to blow the purse open to get him there. And I congratulate my bright black brother in getting that back. All right. So
I just don't. Everybody, yes, we wish him the best. He got his bag, and you can't be mad. Do not be mad at iHeart for taking care of his family. That's I get we're going to miss him, but people downing him because again, he went for the bag. But he's also it's not like he went for the bag and went to Detroit. He got the bag and he still has a chance to win at something.
mm-hmm.
You cannot fault him for that. It's like the perfect situation. I get the money and a chance to win. Yes, I leave a great place with my friends and friendships, but he did what's best what he thought for his future and his family. So shouts out to iHeart. But people crashing out over iHeart. Can we stop that? We're crashing out. And again, I get what iHeart brung. I get the difference between him and Mitch. I've been on here countless times saying that they were one. I looked at them as one player. But why are we crashing out when what iHeart gave us was good for last year's team with all the injuries? We needed the help in the playmaking. We needed because he was out really, our rim protection. We didn't have OG that much. We didn't have Randle, another big body type vibes. We needed all of that. We needed everything he gave us last season a lot because we didn't have it. And you give me this team particularly, we need the center that can impact the game the most without having to have the ball. So who would that be? So people was like, why didn't we trade? Why would we trade? And I've been on here last season. Like, if I see stuff that Mitch does, I'm pretty sure that his coach and stuff realized the value of him also. Average playmaking, average floaters, or elite, and the floaters would not be the center is not getting the ball a lot in this offense. They're going to get the emergency passes, like, oh, help me, please, passes. That's what they're getting.
Well,
They're not in this team today. The center does not need to be the pass creator because again, we incorporate Randle now. We're incorporating Mikal. Well, I keep calling that man Miles. Mikal Bridges. We incorporating more people who are going to demand the ball, demand having more ball. So where is exactly what iHeart would play the playmaking part? Where does that come in with this team per se?
you know what? I can already feel this is going to be a Ebony and Lee topic. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pass the ball. Before I pass the ball, I just want to mention one small thing before I pass the lead. All right, and this is the thing. Trading Mitch wasn't going to make a difference. We still only had iHeart's early bird rights. So the most we could sign him regardless was 16.5. So for people saying we should have just traded Mitch to keep iHeart, that wasn't an option.
No.
We had his early bird rights. The reason why we got Dante here in the first place was because of the same reason. Like we were able to take them from Golden State because they didn't have his full rights. And that's what happened to us. And I'm going to say that. And I already know Lee got a lot to say, so I'm going to just get out the way.
This is the last time you're ever going to hear me say something positive about Isaiah Hartenstein because he is now officially the op. If you watch KOT with any level of regularity, you would know that some of the best battles this channel has had in quite some time was the heavyweight matches between Ebony and I on iHeart and Mitch. Now, it wasn't really even versus. It was just a comparison because both of us loved both players. And we're both on record. You cannot find a single time where either she said trade iHeart or I said trade Mitch. We both loved, as she said, how they were one player and seamless integration with Mitch off the bench once iHeart started starting. If you had a center like Joel Embiid, who, as Ebony said, dog walked iHeart, which he did, put in Mitch. And Mitch come in and he'll win that series for you. But if you have a series where Mitch maybe doesn't match up well with a perimeter-oriented center, and you need somebody also who has some playmaking because maybe your shooters are getting crammed out and run off at the perimeter, iHeart's your man. He was excellent in the dribble handoff, excellent in the high post, passing, finding cutters, elite. I loved him. I loved his personality, loved everything he brought, and I loved that he was one of the greatest representations of what Tibbs can do as a developer. He earns that bad. Tibbs got him that bad. He needs to thank Tibbs for everything that he unlocked in him and giving him the opportunity to be a starter so that OKC could, yes, overpay him. $29 million for iHeart is an overpay. And for one of the few times in its history we were not used for leverage, we used leverage on OKC to have to spend their entire cap space on iHeart. Because he really, at his heart, pun intended, he wanted to stay in NYC. You can tell that he loved his team, and he especially loved Mitch Robinson. So the same way that him and Mitch battled in practice, Eben and I battled here on KOT. But guess what? He's gone. No more. There's no more iHeart.
Yeah.
Now I am part of the Mitch Hive. Never trade Mitch. Because when we lift that championship trophy, I want somebody that was here during the worst time, during 17 wins. Someone who was drafted, developed, and invested in to be on this team as part of this rotation when we win that championship. More than any other player, I want to see Mitch Robinson hold that trophy up in the air because he was here when the times were dark, when names like David Fizdale and Steve Mills haunted MSG. And they're gone. And Mitch's representation of where we have been and where we are now. So I'm all in on Mitch. He needs a backup. There are some options out there that I think maybe he might be better suited off the bench. We can debate on that. But right now, he's our starting center. Put some respect on the name and never trade Mitchell Robinson.
Nah, I'm always agree with that. But I told you off the offseason, I believe in Leon. So if Mitch was out, then I already know it would have been a better option. Somebody that fills the role at a better, value, I guess you want to say. But again, like all the great coaches have mentioned, again, you go from the Larry Browns, the Jeff Van Gundy, the Dean Smith, just name them. They always say championship teams have great defense and great rebound. Not average, not good, not okay. Great defense, great rebound. And that sounds like the guy that's still on our team.
Yeah.
When we talk about injuries as a concern, I get that. I understand that. when you have defenders now, he doesn't have to cover for so much room. There is not a lot of jumping and trying to cover for everybody or run, like I used to say, running around like a chicken with his head cut off because of the defense. You have more people to help hide Brunson and also help Randle when he's struggling sometimes defensively. Also with the size with OG, and if we do resign Precious, and again, I know people are not high on him, but I am. I see flashes, and he does show me flashes. He reminds me of young Mitch. It's Jericho. He happens to be, if we do not sign another backup, he happens to be our best perimeter big. Now that he gets his shot, what does that look like against the likes of Jokic's and Porzingis's and stuff of that nature? Because he did a good job against Jokic. He had Jokic turning that ball over a lot, made him uncomfortable, took him out of his spots, things of that nature. So what does that look like again? I believe in players' growth. I don't think he comes back the same player he was last year. Getting the experience to play, get more experience to play like he did this year when iHeart was out. Talk about Sims. That might help him and make the game slow down a little bit more for him, and he can add.
Yeah.
I find it funny that quote from Tibbs just found his ways to float around right before iHeart signed with the OKC about Sims' touch in high school. They said that Tibbs loved this. He spoke to his coaches, and one thing that he loved to hear is that he does have a touch around the rim.
Yeah, and shout out to Knicks Nation TV, reading my mind right now. So Sims is working out with David Zenon. David Zenon worked with Obi Toppin last year. Got Obi to shoot 40% from three, career high. And also, Obi had a career high finishing at the rim, and he's now working with Sims. So I know people are out on Sims. I was definitely one of those people frustrated with Sims. But I also recognize that he's been injured a few times, can take you out your rhythm. He was thrown into a playoff situation where he didn't have a lot of rhythm or reps in. And I still remember that time where he single-handedly was teeing up Kevin Durant when he was on the Brooklyn Nets, going to Kevin Durant, rotating back to the center and then going back to Kevin Durant and pretty much playing defense really well, to the point where Brooklyn had to call a timeout and come up with another strategy to deal with Jericho Sims playing defense against Kevin Durant. So he has natural tools to be a really good defender. And he has a touch that we can develop. So even though we've seen certain things from him last season that weren't the best, I still feel like Deuce kind of came out of nowhere and surprised everybody. I still think he's young enough where the same thing can happen with Sims. So I wouldn't count that out. Now this is if we don't go after another center, which we'll talk about in a minute, but I definitely don't count out the possibility that Sims could possibly turn into something, because now with iHeart gone, he does give us even more switchability defensively if he gets more minutes. Go ahead, Fritz. I know you haven't said anything in a while.
Oh no, I know we just talked a little bit about all the centers. Just our guys, the trendsetters. We've been dominating on both ends, especially the offensive ends, and teams are adjusting. And you saw in the draft there was a run on centers. You have free agency, centers were important. So I think a lot of people saw what we were doing in New York, and they're gonna copycat because it's working.
Yeah.
I agree, Fritz. I've been on here saying Leon found a new blueprint, and it's a copycat league. While everybody wanted to go small and score, Leon said, "Okay, I'm gonna get the people to defend those scores." So when you can't score, what are you gonna do on the other end? You can't do that either. now it's our turn. We're gonna take care of the things that you can take care of, which is defense, rebounding, and playing as a team. If you don't, again, I'm gonna keep saying it. You don't need a bunch of stars. You just need a bunch of people to star in their role. and this is what we got. We got a bunch of people at any moment they can have 30 if they wanted to, and they're probably okay with not having 30. They're probably okay with just getting a W. I think at this moment it's not about personal accolades with them. It's just about getting that chip, getting a championship to New York. and proving folks wrong that said we couldn't.
That
It
would
is
be
definitely going back to the days of the big man. Having a rim protecting big is a must among people now, especially if you're trying to win a championship.
for me. The important name here is Casey Smith. My man's the long time director of medicine for the Dallas Mavericks, and more importantly, Team USA, which means the best players in the NBA were trusting him. The best American players were trusting him with their bodies and their health while they were competing and representing America in the Olympics. Now he is our vice president of medicine here with the New York Knicks.
Point.
He is going to be very, very instrumental in keeping Mitchell Robinson on the court, in helping mitigate strains and bruises and slight pulls that could turn into something worse, and also getting Mitch on whatever regiment that might be, whether it means slimming down after bulking up this past season, maybe slimming down to make him more agile, and working with the coaching staff to really mitigate injury through reaction, not jumping at certain things, not overexerting himself when, maybe the defense is funneling things toward him as the paint protector. He needs to be a lot more mindful on the way that he's defending, because when he's locked in, he's top 3 in the NBA at rim protection, statistically and eye test. You just watch it, you're like, damn, this guy is a lockdown warden. He's a beast. But sometimes his decision making can overexert himself and lead to some of these injuries. And between him, Tibbs, Leon, and Casey Smith, this needs to be a core of conversation, communication to make sure that Mitch is available when we need him the most, especially in the playoffs. Because if we have him, I mean, you're talking about when he's healthy, a top 5 center in the NBA. Already said that on this podcast about a year ago.
Yeah, I agree. You know how I feel about Mitch. I like the bulked up Mitch. I think that made the difference between his smart defense and being in foul trouble. I think when he was slimmer and more agile wise, really, it was a reason for he was getting hurt too, because he's jumping at everything, because he didn't have the strength. He didn't
Right.
have the strength to stay there and just put his hands up. Now you've seen Clint Capella and you've seen Kitty Cat try to post him up this year, and he didn't move anywhere. There is no moving. It's just straight hands up. You're not going. Same thing with Embiid.
Yep.
It was the reason he was able to do what he did with Embiid, not letting Embiid get to his spots, not letting Embiid bully him. So we got to really pick and choose which we really want. And I don't think young Mitch is really what we need. The new Mitch, the smart, disciplined one is just enough. It's just that we got to find him on lobs.
Yeah, we gotta find him on lobs, and we gotta get him healthy, like Lee said. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie though, I am concerned about the center position, not because Mitch isn't amazing, it's because of health. He hasn't played like 65 games in consecutive years since he's been here, so that's still a big concern for me. Talent wise, though, I feel like if he's healthy, like he can be dangerous. So like Lee said, Casey Smith's signing is going to be huge for us, because hopefully he can get him right. Him and OG, like that. Those are your best friends, all right? Those guys are your best friends. Mitch and OG are your best friends, because we're going to need you guys this season. So shout out to that. With that being said, let's get into the centers. And we talked about Knick Bridges before. We haven't talked about Kessler. But I think Mike Sato had kind of talked about that the Knicks are interested in Kessler, the center out of Utah, which is interesting because he was third in Rookie of the Year voting. He's a guy who blocks crap load of shots, 2.4 blocks a game at 4.9 rebounds per game. And he's doing all that while not playing a lot of minutes. He's only playing 23 minutes a game and getting those numbers. And he's young. He's 22 years old. And believe it or not, like, he has those numbers, but it's been a down year for him offensively. He really hasn't found his way offensively. He still has to learn how to screen well. He's not a good screener. But there's a lot of potential there. And I just want to get your guys' thoughts on Kessler. I'll start off with Fritz too, because I know Fritz might have to go soon. So we start with Fritz.
Kessler, I guess he's been frustrated. Guess he has some issues with some of the coaching over there. But Utah is not a good environment. They're just trying to cash in picks. They're bringing in players. They don't care about the mix. So basically, is getting where you fit in. You know, you could be traded at any time. Winning isn't capitalized. So right now, Ainge just trying to cash in as much as he can, and he knows it. At this point.
Got you. Go ahead,
Yeah,
Lee.
they bugging.
Or
I am super high on Walker Kessler. He's the only potential trade target. That, first of all, I do not think it's likely. I think it's likely that we end up re-signing Precious, and Precious is our backup center with a combination of Sims based on health going into the season. I do not think another center will be signed. I don't think the rookie is going to be playing any. He will not be in the rotation. I don't think Kessler's a realistic target. I just think the Knicks are having conversations. They have conversations with every team about all kinds of players. But Kessler is the one that, because I am someone who watches Utah, I like to write about Utah for my various publications. So I've watched a decent amount of their games, and he was the most impressive player on that team. He has the highest unmet ceiling on that team, in my opinion. I think he will be eventually a first-team all-defensive player and a defensive player of the year candidate because of his evolved instincts as a help defender, as a rim protector, as a shot blocker. His ability to guard the perimeter is probably his one weakness. He can't guard the perimeter, and Jay Ellis hit on it. He's a horrible strainer. Those are two things you can work on. The other stuff is instincts. Do you have that naturally? The two things that he's weak at, you can learn from. As long as you have the right coaching staff and development, two things the Knicks have in droves. So I think that is the one holdback. I don't think it's a realistic situation, but he's the one target I would start. If we acquired him, I would start him over Mitch because of the limitless potential he has at the 5. People want to say, oh, he's a three-point shooter. He's not a three-point shooter. He's as much of a three-point shooter as Isaiah Hartenstein was. Small sample size, 0.1 attempts a game. Don't look at those stats and look at
21% from three is not a three-point shooter.
Yes, he is not a three-point shooter. Even his mid-range shot is really streaky too, but around the rim, he's at a really solid, refined post game, and he's coming in at a very refined state overall, especially defensively. Where Mitch was a project, raw, but had a huge upside, Kessler came into the NBA very well defined and a skill set that every team would want, which is why I'm very high on him and why I think his future is very bright. But I do not think he is a realistic target for the Knicks.
I just want to say, I like Kessler, but I ain't starting him over Mitch. And Mitch, it wasn't a complete process because people forget he didn't get college. He didn't get college. There was no college for Mitch. He was a raw as you can get prodigy. But again, we mentioned about a lot of his flaws is what we would need the other center to really have. You will want to have another defender who could defend on the perimeter. You need that. That's no. Mitch has gotten better. People always say he doesn't do it, and I countlessly show y'all the videos over and over. I mean, he was doing it. He was doing it. He can guard on the perimeter. But the person that's backing him up, or he has to back up, they have to be yin and yang. They have to complement each other. If they have the same flaws, what is that doing for us? So I like Walker. But to get rid of somebody else to get him, I'm not with it. And I heard it had to be. That's what I was trying to ask you.
Deuce.
Before first went Deuce, so I'm not with that. I'm not getting rid of Deuce for Walker.
That's a very good take, Ebony, about him not having the skill set, complementary skill set that you need when Mitch is sitting. That's a very, very. I have not heard that argument, and that's a very good point.
Yeah, would you trade Deuce for? I'm not gonna lie, yo. I went back and forth with this. I went back and forth with the Deuce for Kessler thing, but like for me. Like Deuce has grown so much and performed in the playoffs. It'll be really hard for me to give that up because Kessler, high ceiling as well. We definitely need a center, but I also know like I don't know how he performs under pressure. It seems like from what I've been hearing and reading. Like he kind of buckles under pressure a little bit. So I'm not sure how that translates in New York. But I also take in consideration our rookies here. You know what I'm saying? Like for me to even be uncomfortable, even thinking about moving Deuce, I would have to see what our year's rookies are doing. Like I would have to see what Tyler Kolek is doing because Tyler looks like a great player who studies Jalen Brunson and stuff, but what Knicks fans are quick to do sometimes is they'll anoint him the next thing without even seeing him play in a Knicks uniform and how he interacts with the team. So you're quick to say he's the back of the card. Like he has to take his lumps still. He has to adjust to the NBA game still. He has growing to do too. So it's I get it. We're plugging one hole, but then are we creating another hole? I guess is the question.
I think so. Again, I'm just going to throw it back to Leon. I'm gonna throw it back to Leon. You know how we got given him our utmost trust. Like we believe in him. We like, all right, Leon, you got it. Now Deuce and Mitch have showed you when the lights are bright. 2 playoffs in a row, mind you, because when Deuce was in last playoffs, his little 5 minutes, I tell you, I remember them 5 minutes because they were so impactful. The most impactful 5 minutes I've seen from a role player in that, like, so I've seen what they do when the lights are bright. You can't question their heart. You can't question their intensity. So when you trade that for an unknown, that becomes scary. You don't know how these people react in certain environments. You don't know how these people act in winning environments. Walker and Nick Richards are on losing teams. We seen what getting the players from Detroit. It took time for them to get back into winning ways.
Yeah.
So we gotta, be careful who we're giving up, especially if they showed you that they can do their job in the pressure situations.
I want to give props in real time. Ebony's cooking right now. And Ebony's points on the Mitch conversation, the iHeart conversation, the Deuce conversation. Listen, the former rookie of the year is cooking right now.
Yeah,
she's making me rethink some things in real time on the podcast.
She missed us, man. That's all. She missed us. We haven't done this.
I told y'all I had some things to get off my chest. I told y'all in the chat.
When this rumor came up for Walker Kessler, again, I make no bones about it. He's a player I'm very high on. By watching Utah, I would trade Deuce for him. I'm starting to reassess that. I think there's some flexibility and freedom in saying that, knowing Leon's not going to make this trade. And Leon's not going to trade a rotation player, especially Deuce and McBride, who's on the most team-friendly, affordable deal, maybe an entire NBA. It's so team-friendly, I feel bad for him that he's making so little money and producing at such a high level. We're talking about fantasy right now because it's not going to happen. But theoretically, and listen, I'll take the L if Deuce ends up going skyrocketing and Walker Kessler becomes Sean Bradley. I really think Walker Kessler is going to be really, really good. So asking me, fantasy-wise, would I trade Deuce for him? Yes. And if I end up holding that L, I end up holding the L. Because it's not happening.
Yeah. I go ahead, Jay. I'm sorry.
Now, for me, I get it because I want to see more, yo. It's like, for me, I think Mitch's injury history has a lot to do with like my thought process. Like if I know Mitch can give me 65, 70 games, then I wouldn't think about this hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, you said something. You said that Mitch didn't play, I think, 60 games back to back. He's done it. His first 2 years, he was 60 games. And besides the last season that we had, he was on a little stretch, 2 years of 72 and 59.
I said 65 games. I know he had 62 games.
Yeah. He got 66 and 61, so he was almost there.
That's decent.
Yeah, he was almost there.
That's right.
Yeah, and again, it's less movement he would have to do, less work, less job. It's just gonna make it better. But with the Deuce thing, again, I believe in players' growth, and it's the most important time for a player right now. Is when you add into the game. You can't do this in season. You can try to sharpen up stuff, but right now to add to your game, to change mechanics, to just watch film and then implement what you want to do next season, this is the time. So we asked Deuce last year. He came out of nowhere. We asked him for a lot when you think about it.
True.
We come from not playing to being a backup to Jalen Brunson with a lot of minutes, to being in the starting lineup, to sometimes having to run the point because Jalen was hurt. So he did a lot on a short notice to me. And then you asked him to come back with a jump shot. He did that. Now we're asking him to learn how to run the team, maybe be more of a point.
He's reading my mind right now.
So then now what does that look like? What is Deuce with his defense, his jump shot from last year? And then you seen even last year, you seen that the point guard skills were coming along. He was starting to get people involved. He was starting to have a
Yeah.
better balance
Let
of
me
getting
taking my
his
takes right
own.
now.
My bad.
I'm telling you, she's cooking.
He had a balance of getting his own shot and getting others involved, and also playing off ball. That's another
Yeah.
little thing. So I'm not giving all of that up for potential of Walker Kessler.
Here's the like, I feel like if a better decision could be made in February, that's how I feel, because like Ebony said, there's this thing where we don't know exactly what we have yet because these players are young players. I remember once upon a time, Quickly wasn't a playmaker. He wasn't a chucker. He didn't know how to use screen and roll. He couldn't finish. He started doing all those things. I also remember 2 seasons ago, everybody wanted to get rid of Quickly, and because McBride was more of a playmaker. Everybody was saying McBride was more of a playmaker 2 seasons ago. 2 seasons ago, right? Now this last season, he wasn't a big playmaker. He was a catch and shoot guy. He was a shooting guard, like straight up. So I'm not discounting that he needs to play make more, but what I'm really saying is I think they're building him up kind of slowly. They're like, all right, we're taking away responsibility for you to get the shot going, and then we're gonna give you more responsibility as we go along. It's the same thing that they were doing with Quickly. Like, they had Quickly just shooting, and then he started to play make a little bit more. So I think they're building McBride out that way. So I would not be shocked if you saw more playmaking from McBride, especially considering the way I saw him starting to develop his dribble and his penetration as the season started to wane on. So we don't necessarily know what we have in McBride fully, and don't necessarily know what we have in Sims fully, because there's a possibility we could have the answers in our own backyard, but we have to just see what we have, which is why I don't want to panic yet and make a deal with the devil, aka Danny Ainge, who's going to want 75 first-round picks for Walker Kessler because he had a really good rookie season and a down second season. Like, I would rather wait and see what we have, at least before we make a final decision on that. And I think that's where I am right now.
Yeah. I just wanted to address the chat because I'm seeing some things in the chat. With team basketball, people always say about other systems, it's hard. It's hard. That's why you just got to watch the play and understand the context around it, because certain players won't play the same way in other systems, right? And also, certain players are what you call rhythm players. So people say they look behind, they look ass, or whatever the case may be. Certain players look differently when you give them more minutes. How did Josh Hart look when we gave him more minutes? You get what I'm saying? He's a rhythm player. You know, those are certain players. And again, certain players also develop at different times. So Deuce had a jump, a leap last year. He can have another one. I felt Sims got smarter, but he needs to get smarter. But it's steps. He took a little step forward, and he gained experience. That looks different. Now you're giving him a shot, and I've never seen so many Sims workout videos ever until this summer. So that should tell you something. He's serious about it. You know, he's serious about it. And again, he gives us something that we don't have, a big that can switch everything. You can switch everything on when you got Sims. He stands in front of guards very well. Very, very well. So the next time people get a chance, if he does get a chance on our team, just watch Sims. Just watch the small things he does. And Deuce, again, we talking about trading him and creating another hole because we got Tyler. We don't know what Tyler does. We don't know what he does in an NBA setting. It's always a learning curve. He might be 2 years a project too. It might take him a minute to get it all together because that's what happens. You round out your game in the summertime.
Yeah.
So I got to stop trying to trade the knowns for the unknowns. Like, you know, in the team aspect, it doesn't, especially this team, it doesn't matter if you average 30 before. Like, what does your team game look like? What does your defensive game look like? How does your game look within a team aspect?
Great point. I'm
That's
gonna
it.
piggyback on that and continue that thread with the reason I love McBride so much and why I became less high on Grimes and my criticism for IQ is when the playoffs came around, they didn't really show up within their role on the team. IQ within his role, McBride with his role, he had seeded what the expectations were for him. But he was probably our second best shooter outside of Dante DiVincenzo. And I think that they might keep him in that role. Now that Devo's on the bench, you might see Devo take over in a lot of the playmaking duties when that second unit's in, and McBride staying as a catch and shoot shooter on the perimeter. I think that's very possible that he might just be counted on in that capacity until they really figure out who's a long-term answer at backup point guard. Is it Devo, or do we need 2 more summers of McBride development until he didn't take on that role? Jericho Sims, I see what you guys are saying. I think, again, both of y'all see the game differently than me because you'd have a more higher IQ when it comes to what's happening on the floor in real time in X and O sense. I just haven't seen enough from Sims. He hasn't had the opportunity that McBride has had. He hasn't been a guaranteed part of the rotation like McBride has had. But in the minutes that I've seen Sims, I've seen some of the worst games of any single player on the Knicks. I've seen some really bad games from Sims at the center position that I feel like for this 9-man rotation, we need someone better. I'm not saying dump him, cut him, trade him, keep developing him. But I think that with the type of where we are right now in championship time, I think we need a better option than him as part of the rotation. And I would take Precious at this point above him.
Precious guarding center scares me.
Yeah,
It does
sometimes
me too.
it does. But the Precious Sims thing, like again, I look at them as one because I seen what they did as one together against that little stretch they had when Mitch and iHeart were in there, you know. So it can be done, and again, they can add to the games, add to their IQ. The game slows down a little bit more, stuff of that nature. Shout out, see the shoot chat.
I need to get the super chat soon too. Shout out to Paris. She sent 2 of them joints. I see you, my guy. I'm gonna get to you.
We cooking right now. 250 in the chat. Let's go.
Let's go.
And with Tyler, I was watching. I know I'm a college casual. I watch more so on the women's side, but I was watching some of his highlights, and what stood out to me though, and everybody's saying, you know, he can create for others and things. What stood out to me is that again, there's levels to this, and he's left-handed, and I found that out ASAP.
Yeah, he only goes left.
ASAP. So in the league, he's not getting to the top. You know, you got to have an option A, B, C, D kind of. He got to work on that right hand.
Yeah, we got to see what he's doing this summer.
I spotted that out ASAP, and I'm not familiar with his game.
Right.
It's funny when I saw it, I was like, man, we really love left-handed players. Like we, like, what is that? What is it with us and these left-handed players? It has to be a record, but I'm pretty sure he knows that, and he'll be working on his right hand. The other thing too is he's gonna be working with Jalen Brunson, and Patterson's getting after him, so I'm pretty sure he's working with him one-on-one is gonna shoot him up.
Now, I like what I see from Tyler. I do.
But you're right.
I like his mentality. I do. But I'm not going. I see him as a project that's going to have to develop, and maybe he can impact. You know, gets the minutes, maybe, and maybe he doesn't. You know, but we'll he's going to be in our system, learning and getting ready, being the Deuce, basically the new Deuce. Same thing with Pacone.
Yeah, before we even get to Pacone, I want to talk about him too. I'm going to salute Paris Thugger because he's bringing up another topic within the topic that I want to touch on. But he sends a $5 super chat. He says, salute fam. They said Tibbs wanted to play OG mostly at small ball 5, but injuries prevented it. Tibbs is going to play small ball lineup and save Mitch. He also writes about another super chat that says Tibbs' contract depends on keeping Mitch and OG healthy. That's an interesting take. But I want to talk about that first take, which is the small ball lineup, because everybody's been talking about, hey, you know what? We can go small here. Like everybody assumes the lineup will be Brunson, Mikal, OG, Randle, Mitch, but we can definitely go Brunson. We can definitely go Brunson, Dante, Mikal, OG, Randle. What do you think of the prospect of having Randle be at the 5, or maybe even OG at the 5?
Hell yes.
Yeah.
Hell yes. Been waiting for, I think we all been waiting for seeing more Randle at the 5. Now that we have the wings to be able to guard the perimeter so that he's not having to clean up all the defensive mistakes that happen as a rim protector. Man, it's all about his three-point shooting. There's 3 things I want to see development-wise this offseason, and I'm not trying to go too far off track. I want Mitchell Robinson to work on his free throws. Enough of this three-point shooting off the dribble bullshit I'm seeing in his game tape. Excuse my language. I'm sick of it. Just really, whoever your free throw coach is, fire him. Go find the best free throw coach in the NBA, hire him, pay him double, and actually work on your free throws. That is a must. Josh Hart, shoot 1,000 3-pointers a day. I heard Tibbs say it in the roommate show. Shoot 1,000 3-pointers a day. So that how you shot in the playoffs, you shoot in the regular season, and you make this unstoppable offensively. Third, Julius Randle, go up therapy. You're coming off of this major shoulder injury. I know you don't have a lot of doubt in your mind. You got a lot of people saying trade you. You feel like you're the odd man out with the Villanova 4. Screw all that noise. Go up therapy. Go talk to an elder, someone you respect, an old head. Get your mind right. I don't worry about you working out, bro. I see the stuff you're doing with your son. Insane workouts. Stuff I couldn't do at the peak of my life. But listen, it's all about your mental, my man. If your mental is right, you're just like me. If your mental is right, your life is right. So, Mitch, free throws. Hart, 3-pointers. Randle, get your mind right.
Yeah, I agree. Mitch, he use the same guy, get comfortability. But I always give big people and shooting grace. I from a personal story, I remember when I was young and I asked somebody who actually went to Villanova. He actually played ball at Villanova. I asked him one time, he was having troubles with his free throws with shooting, and he was like, "Eb, how does when you shoot a handball in the basket, how does that feel?" I'm like, yo, it's hard. I can't do it. I miss terribly. They make you try to shoot a smaller ball. You miss terribly. He's like, all right, that's how I feel with the basketball. So a lot of times it's just them trying to work on touch. And as a strong man with big hands, I heard that's very, very, very hard to do. I don't know. So I've never been 7 foot. I've never been 7 foot. I've never been a man. So I can't say I could just take what somebody that is that tall, told me. So I try. Hopefully, the touch is there. Pause. Hopefully it's there. Hopefully it's there this season. But other than that, I really like this team again because defense leads to offense all the time. So we locking up folks. That's run and gun, fast break, and how do you stop? We have off the top. We have 2 people that you can't guard 1-on-1. It's proven. You can't guard Jalen Brunson. You can't guard Julius when he in his bully ball mode.
You can't, Can we stop Julius Randle disrespect, please? Please, I'm so tired of watching these shows and everybody just mentions Julius Randle. Well, we got McCown. Julius Randle has to go, right? I'm like, wait, what? Why? Why does Julius Randle have to go? Like, to me, this works more because Julius Randle is actually here. The last season was Brunson ran out of gas because he had to play and make too much. We got a guy who's averaging 5 assists a game. His playmaking was growing exponentially once OG got here. Not only that, defensively, no one wants to talk about this. Defensively, Randle got better last year when OG got here. I know it's because of inspiration, because he realized, damn, we got a team right now. But he was all around getting better in all areas when OG got here. So I feel like Randle's going to be extremely motivating when he gets back. I'm actually not worried about Randle when he gets back outside of injury.
Y'all gonna laugh about this or be stunned, I guess, because y'all know how I feel about Randle. I'm not the biggest fan, but I stopped saying trade him because it was no name who fits this team as perfect as Randle fits what we need from our power forward. Somebody who can give you in and out, pause if you need it. He can shoot from the 3-pointer. He can, and then when he's playing bully ball, he's at his best to me. That's all I asked for. I've been asking since he got here. is to stay in that area. Now you have, and when they did play together, and he was playing at that level, Jalen Brunson was shooting like 40% from 3-pointer because he was open so much. It was so easy. Just take your time, and I got my legs because I don't have to do it all by myself.
You.
and just look more fluent. Now you add OG, which again you had mentioned he got better. It was clips where I showed where he is, if he's not on the ball, Randle sometimes checks out. We know that he's a watcher. He watches. So with OG, that gives you with him staying and making it hard for defenders, that helps Randle while he's watching. He can still recover, kind of vibes. He gives him more times to more room for mistake, if you want to say. That's with an OG type vibe. And then you add another person like a Mikal, that'll help him even more. So again, I think Randle makes this team very unique. He's the one that makes this team where you have mismatches.
Yeah, and he's the reason why when people was getting hyped about Paul George coming to the 76ers, I'm going, not so fast. We got somebody, we got Mikal Bridges here who can guard Maxey. We got OG here who can guard Paul George. Mitch got to be healthy. Mitch has to be healthy. We need Mitch to guard Embiid. Like, we need him to guard Embiid. On the other side, they have nobody. They already had nobody who could handle Jalen Brunson. They already didn't have anybody who could do that. On top of Batum leaving. Hello. I mean, they did re-sign. What's the old dude with the hairs?
Who? Terrence Howard?
Oubre. They did re-sign Oubre, who gave him some trouble, but
they lost
Jalen Brunson. Huh?
They lost D'Anthony Melton too.
Yeah, they lost Anthony Melton. Oubre gave him some trouble, but Jalen Brunson eventually wore him down. Who on that squad is guarding Julius Randle?
And who are you doubling? Do you double him when he is going off? Do you risk the 2 for the 3? Like we put defenses in a tough position. So people claiming that Mikal he's not all that good and his resume is not all that, he don't have the accolade. The only accolade we looking for is NBA champion. And I think that's it. That's the one they're looking to add to their resume. Right. So again, and that comes from personal sacrifice. It comes from knowing that I'm not going to get 20. I'm probably not going to get 20 shots either every game. But the fact of the matter is you don't know who's going to go off on you.
Exactly.
It could be 2 people, it could be 3 people. They can have 5 people going on. All we know, the amount of defense and transition points that we should get off of our defense. It's going to be a good time. I'm ready for all. I'm ready.
Jay, you made a great point about who's going to defend Randle, and I'm going to take it a step further. The same way that Kelly Oubre, having a guard Brunson, wore him down, we started seeing kind of an incremental decline in him on ball in isolation. He started becoming more of a catch and shooter because his legs were tired.
Yeah.
They were giving out. Following Brunson all over the court, the same thing's going to happen to Paul George and Embiid guarding Randle. It's going to wear them down physically and mentally, having to guard Julius Randle when he's on his bully ball and not settling for brick 3-pointers at the top of the key. That's going to be the way that he improves and comes back and maintains that shot diet that he had from 2 years ago to last year, which was a complete minimizing on where he was on the court, 8 to 10 spots where he was absolute money. And the majority of that money came from inside of a 3-point line. If he can do that, bro, dynasty.
Yeah.
Dynasty. I judge anyone's basketball IQ by if they say, but what about Julius Randle? Like, what do you do with him?
Did you watch him?
That's an ESPN. If you say that line, I don't care about anything else you have to say about ball.
I agree. And another thing real quick about Randle that I like, I forgot. My memory is really shot, y'all. They just shot. I forgot what I'm about to say. Now it was about Randle. He adds the fourth seed, he shot like 40%, right? Something like that.
From 3, he talking about when his 3-point shooting was up?
Yeah. So, okay. Now last year was off, but I kind of understood that he was hurt, rehabbing, things of that nature. He's hurt this year, but it's his right shoulder. I think his 3-point shot comes back from where it was before. because he's going to get the reps. He's going to have the shooting. He's in the gym still right now working out. He can shoot, things of that nature. So what does Julius Randle when his 3-point is looking like it was that year, fourth season, and then he incorporates this bully ball that's worked so well for him. Now really a mismatch, in and out, a mismatch.
Yeah, I'm not gonna hold you. I'm not expecting 40% from Randle.
But better.
If he gives me 36, I'll be happy.
Yep.
If he gives me
That's
36 and he's bully balling like last year, I'll be happy. Because you're gonna have Brunson giving you 40, you're gonna have Mikal giving you 40, you're gonna have OG giving you 40, you're gonna have Dante giving you 40, you're gonna have
Devo.
You're gonna have Devo giving you 40. It's 40-40 club up on the Knicks.
McBride.
Yeah, we got mad 40s.
Mad 40s.
We got mad 40s. Mad 40s.
And that defense,
I love it, dude.
When you could put OG at the 5, that's what people like. You gonna have Randle at the 5? I don't really think they want to put Randle at the 5. Let Randle be his 4. Go ahead, you 4, and then OG at the 5. Because again, a lot of centers there are a few select centers who really post up like that in today's league.
Ebony, it can be OG at the 5 on defense, but Randle at the 5 on offense. That becomes unstoppable. Open driving lanes all day. No one can play drop with that. You don't get cooked. You're going to get cooked.
Yeah. So I don't know. All this chatter about oh, they got Paul George. I better watch out. Scary. Ooh. I low-key like it. I low-key like the doubt. I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm used to living here. You know, I lived on Doubt Avenue for years as a Knicks fan. It was getting really weird when everybody was like, y'all the second, undisputedly, at least second best, and y'all capping it. It was like, ooh, it's too much praise. I don't like that. Like, I told you so is better. So.
Yeah, facts. I told you so is better.
So I feel like we're good. It's just enough praise where I feel good and then smack the 76ers a little later and laugh. I like it this way anyway, so we good.
Yeah. Wendy has been on a roll lately. I don't know who made him mad, but he been on his ether. He been ethering players lately.
Oh yeah, man. The Paul George ether was whew.
Yeah. He ethered Luka. I don't know what Luka did to him, but he did him. I was agreeing the whole time though.
Yep.
I agree with him. And then I agreed again with the PG when he flamed PG. Like, again, how many times are you going to say he the answer and not be the answer?
Exactly.
How many super teams do you need? Who else you going to play with?
Exactly.
Exactly. And you're older now. So I'm not, I'm not going to look past anybody.
I'm not looking past 76ers. I'm not going to
collectively, the Knicks have too much.
Yeah, I still think we're good. I still think we're really, really, really good space. So I think we're fine. Keep me healthy. Keep me healthy.
This is where the hot take comes in. We're winning the championship next year, and we're going on a dynasty run. We are a dynasty. Because the thing that keeps teams from being dynasties, we saw it with the Denver Nuggets. It's a cap situation. The role players, they play above their means. They start wanting a payday. You can't keep them. It happened with Bruce Brown. Now it happened to KCP. It's not going to happen to the Knicks because they got everyone locked up for multiple years. McBride, Josh Hart, DiVincenzo, OG, Bridges, Randle, and Brunson are the only ones that aren't locked in. I did Mitch Robinson too, but the role players are. So we don't have to worry about losing continuity or losing the fringe guys, the 7th, 8th, 9th man of the rotation. They're here for the long haul. And we got rookies in the back we're going to be developing on the back end to make sure they fill roles moving forward too. Once we lock in Randle and Brunson on team-friendly deals, because they're taking team-friendly deals. Once that first championship hits, it's on, baby. Dynasty. Let's go.
Squad.
Oh, I hope you're right. I hope you're right.
Bring it back.
I definitely think this is a year we can win a chip. I definitely feel like this is a year we can
coming
win a
out
chip.
a lot.
We just got
this coming out.
It's healthy. We just gotta be healthy.
Yep.
We just gotta be healthy. I see the path. I see the group of friends coming together and trying to keep this whole team together. I am worried about Mitch in a couple of years. I am worried about who's Mitch. Yeah, I think probably Mitch got 2 years left. Mitch got 2 years left. He's underpaid. Like right now, he's underpaid. If He's underpaid if he's healthy.
I don't want to think.
Yeah.
I ain't even trying to think of that. I'm gonna just think. I'm not
Yeah.
looking past this year right
He's
now.
underpaid if he's healthy.
We're gonna have some tough questions soon, definitely.
Yeah, he's underpaid if he's healthy. But we gonna enjoy this one right now because we definitely have a run and a window to take advantage, to take care of. So hopefully we do that. I talked about everything I really wanted to talk about. The only last footnote that I want to mention is about our newest rookie. I just want to tell our newest rookie, I'm sorry. That's really it. Shout out to Bacome. That's his name, right? Bacome Dadiet. Shout out to Josh Hart.
Shout out Josh Hart, the diet.
He was drafted by the Knicks, and he was directly asked, "Are you playing? Are you playing? Like, are you playing? Are you planning on playing overseas?" And he said, "No, I'm coming. I'm playing here this year." And he said it definitively too. Like, and I looked at that screen, and I was like, "Poor child, poor naive child. You are playing overseas, my friend. We drafted you so we can stash you and save money." Lo and behold, the Knicks did some gymnastics with the cap, took their first picks, got second round picks so it wouldn't count against the cap, and shaved 500 here, shaved 600 here, and then they actually shaved his pay too. They're only paying him 80% of his deal to save money, but all that so he can be in the U.S. and play with New York Knicks, even though he might not play actual minutes. He'll at least be with the team. He'll be with Summer League. He'll be under the tutelage with Tibbs, or at least in the G League or something. So I apologize to you. And even though you're not gonna get no burn, I'm not gonna lie. There's some potential there, man. Like the pull-up shooting is great. He looks really fluid. He's a tall wing. One of the things that we craved here. Now we got like 600 wings now. And he has that mentality. He has that dog mentality. It's like he was already in the gym when he got drafted, like dumb early. Man, the Knicks do a really masterful job of picking out high character, hardworking guys and just
They do.
replicating it. They're reminding me of the freaking Heat right now. They're reminding me of the freaking Heat on the type of character, hardworking draft guys that they pick, and I like his attitude so far. So I'm sorry, and man, hopefully you pan out in a few years. 18 years old.
Yeah. I like his demeanor already. Very, very, very sure of himself. When I looked up his highlights, I like what I saw there too. Very bouncy, a score. Again, when you say flashes, people automatically mean step by step. This person is the other player, but it showed little flashes of just mellow, like the bounciness, the quick trick I thought he had, the pull up, stuff of that nature. I'm not saying I don't know what he can be, but I think he's going to be. I picked him to be the one out of the group that surprises me the most. That can have that big leap. He's been around basketball his whole life. That's always big. Being around the game, watching, it slows for you earlier. So yeah, I'm excited to see. I've never been this excited. I don't remember the last time, maybe Grimes and them, that I was this excited for Summer League.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, I didn't think I was even going to be hyped to see Summer League this year. So I was gonna be like, oh, it's gonna be like last year. You get Charlie Browns and these guys, and
I thought the same, though,
and then yeah, no shade to Charlie Brown.
Nah, facts though, I thought the same, but the fact that we built this is kind of what the Celtics were trying to do when they had Kyrie. They were trying to contend and build for tomorrow at the same time. But
Difficult
that
balance.
kind of Kyrie and them, it clashed.
Yeah.
That clash. Him being the vet, them being young, it clashed.
Yeah,
Us, it looked like we're really doing that right now. We're contending and we're still building. The fact that we didn't think that Summer League would matter or that we didn't care, because I felt the same way, Jay. I'm like, another Summer League we just don't care about. That's how I thought it was going to be.
Yeah,
I
me
thought we
too.
could trade out and that was it. But then they pull again. we have I had doubt, and I have to show. Stop. That was the doubt time. Another time I doubted Leon, and I shouldn't, because one thing we gonna do is pick late, and we do well when we do that.
Mhm.
Walt Perrin, man. I'm not going to pretend that I know any of these four players, but I scouted them beforehand, because I really thought they were going to kick these picks down the road and they would end up moving it forward to maybe one of the drafts, or we gave up at the pick to Brooklyn. But we picked four dudes, and every blog I respect, every scout I follow on Twitter, every single one has said the Knicks either won this draft or were top 5 in selections in this draft. All of them had the Knicks under winners. And one of the things I like the most, and what is such a great separation for how we used to operate under Mills, especially Phil Jackson. Isaiah was the only one who picked upside. We're going for the big swings. We're going for guys who have really high potential ceilings, but really need that development time, to where if they would have went to Washington or went to Charlotte or went to Toronto, they might not have panned out. They're playing behind an all-star level player, or their team just sucks. Bad coaching, bad direction, no development. The Knicks have masterful development, and they'll be guarding Jalen Brunson, Julius Randle, OG, being guarded by OG, being guarded by Mikal Bridges in practice. That stuff is invaluable. So to be able to have the foresight to draft for the future and take high side, very high upside players, that's such a reverse, of course, from how the Knicks used to operate, where they always went safe. And that land is Frank Ntilikina and what was that bum ass guy with the chain? Kevin Knox. Oh my God. Jordan Hill. We always went with the safe picks to Anthony Early. So many bums that we can name off. We don't do that anymore. Now we did guys who, all right, they have a character, the work ethic, and a motor. They have a skill set that needs to be developed, just like Mitch. High character, high work ethic. Stop Perry saw him. Now Walt Perrin's picked up a lead and doing the same thing, building us a future while we are in contention now.
Right. And I just want to say one more thing randomly, because Lee just jogged my memory when he mentioned Steve Mills.
Sorry.
Shout out to Marcus. Shout out to Marcus Morris, because Marcus Morris was here, and I remember reading a story about how Steve Mills and Scott Perry had an argument that when Marcus Morris was balling, Scott Perry wanted to trade him for picks, and Steve Mills wanted to pick him. And I'm not sure how true this is, but the story was one of the reasons why Steve Mills got canned was because he wanted to keep Marcus Morris. And Scott Perry was like, we need to move this. Like, he's an older guy. We're not he's really good, but it's time to flip. He ended up flipping him for a pick. Ended up being Emmanuel Quickly, who then ended up being packaged to bring in OG Anunoby. Once OG Anunoby got here, that's when he had that first inclination that we can be a championship team. So shout out to Marcus Morris, who indirectly might have made us a championship team.
Yep, great observation.
Shout out. And shout out for Bogey, too. Thank you, Bogey. And Quentin Grimes, who got us Bogey, who wound up getting us Mikal. So,
ooh, I like
thank you.
And shout out James Dolan for firing Steve Mills' bum ass.
Yes.
Yeah.
He needed to go.
Yeah, he needed to go. He needed to go.
Yeah, another thing we didn't talk about was the other two rookies, McCullough and what's the other guy? Ariel, right? What's his name? How you say it?
Tua?
You know me and the names.
That
I'm not the best.
you already know. I screw some names up. I don't care. I'll try. I'll be trying.
Yeah.
I'll be trying. But it come out some way now. But McCullough, I think that's how you say his name. I'm hearing that. I hear a lot of good things from him from the coaches and stuff. So that's another person to look out for. Another defending wing. I'm just interested to see these rookies give us. And I'm always team Jacob. Does Jacob get some time?
Right. I saw a couple of questions I want to get to. Somebody asked, he's afraid that the Knicks are going to go after Nick Richards. I can honestly see that happen, because like Lee said before, I feel like Kessler is kind of the pipe dream, because of Danny Ainge is going to want like the whole farm, because that's who Danny Ainge is. So I don't really see it.
Right.
I can see a world where Nick Richards comes here because he does have connections with the Knicks. Shout out to Fritz, who mentions this all the time. That Nick Richards was one of Kenny Payne's favorite big men. He's with the Hornets. Might be easy to deal with the Hornets. I did see some Hornets fans kind of be wishy-washy on him because they said he couldn't catch and he goaltends a lot going for blocks. But he's also young. He's shown a step. He's actually taken a step this season with his defense and rebounding. So I can see the Knicks going after him. Although he's not going to be the savior by any means. Like nobody's going to be able to replace what Hartenstein did. Just to be real. But he's a guy with potential who could give us some size 6'11", who might give us something in a market that's not giving us a lot right
now. Yep, agreed.
Yeah. All right. Also, so somebody asked, are the Knicks rookies going to be in Summer League? I've heard. I feel like everybody's going to be in Summer League with the exception of Rokabitis, who's overseas because he's in the Olympics. I believe I read that anywhere. So I think Tyler is going to be there. I think McCullough's going to be there. And I think Bacombe is going to be there. I don't know if anybody wants to double check that.
I'm about to see if I can find it.
But that's what I've heard. And the farther that Rokabitis makes it into the Olympics, the less likely is he will be able to join us in Summer League.
He's probably a trade. I don't know why I feel that, but I feel us now probably trading his draft rights.
I'm ready to trade his ass.
I like see. I'm not gonna do that because Rokas out there playing.
Yeah, he was balling.
If we
not
have
in this
Tyler, he probably definitely would come over. But we keep drafting people in that position. He clearly said that he's not coming over here. It is not a clear path. So
what he does over there in Europe doesn't compare to the NBA league, man. It's a different level of basketball. I can't say that's going to translate over here. And how many years has it been? Like 4 years? Nah, man, just cut ties, use it to get below the cap or whatever you can use it for.
I get it, but I take the skill level and I try to insert it into the team that we have already. And he can play off ball. He is a bigger guard. And he can shoot. He can get himself a bucket, and he can get others a bucket. That is somebody we can definitely use off the bench.
Yeah. All right. That's the show. If you like the show, hit that like and subscribe. We here. We doing post games. We usually do post game shows here, but it's the off season. So we just been kind of just talking about Knicks news and stuff. So if you like the show, like, subscribe, share. It's gonna help us out. And just stay tuned, man. Stay tuned. 287 in the chat, 125 likes. It'd be great if you get those likes up to 150 or something. But I appreciate you guys for actually sitting here and watching us talking Knicks basketball. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the conversation and found it both entertaining and informative. All right. One more shout out. Go ahead.
Sorry, I tried to look at the roster. According to the NBA, is no data available.
Yeah, I think I just saw a random Twitter post. I went to look it up and I couldn't find it. I'm trying to remember random Twitter posts that I saw within the week.
Gregory Lee just asked when we're going to be back online. I'm open to doing some summer league coverage if you guys want to.
Yeah, we can do that. And I still want to do some rookie breakdown stuff. But I'm not like the rookie. I'm not like Lisa. I'm not gonna pretend to be the guy for that. I'm not. But we might know guys who are the guy for that to bring on to talk to.
Yeah, special guest time.
Yeah, so we're gonna work on that for you guys. All right.
Yep.
Cool.
I think Ryan be well versed in that too.
Yeah, Ryan knows more than us for sure. Ryan watches college ball more than we do.
Mm-hmm.
Ryan's outside today. That's why he's not with us.
Yeah, I understand, man. Listen, it's the summertime. All right.
Yeah.
Outside.
Outside. All right. But that's the show, guys. Thank you guys for watching. So, yo, Lee, just let us know, man. Let us know where you can find you, man.
We will definitely be back sooner rather than later. Expect us probably after the first summer league game for some instant reactions and some overreactions as well. Calling people the next Kevin Durant. Who knows? Depends on how I am, how out the window I am. But definitely expect some hot takes. Find me on Twitter at @Leescobedo, LEEESCOBEDO. Man, I've been getting blocked left and right, but every time I get blocked, I get like 10 new followers and people who I guess liked what I was saying.
Keep doing it.
Did they block me? So I'm like, you know what? I'm flaming all these bums. It's working for me. Boy, there are some ass crack Tates out there and some asshole people out there. And it's summertime, so I'm having fun flaming them. Yeah, find me on Twitter, man. Just do #bum. You'll see me in some thread calling somebody out.
That's a fact.
That's how Lee.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Ebony. Let them know they can find you.
You can find me here post games, and I guess after summer league post game. And you can find me on Twitter at Mad Knick Fan, Twitch, Matt, same. Instagram, same name also. I forgot I'm on here too. And on Tuesdays at 7, I do Liberty Latte on the Morning Brew, and Bowling with the Queens and Twitter Space after each Liberty game.
Yeah, you'll find me here talking summer league, trying to figure out how I can compare our rookie Tyler to Steve Nash. So, you can also find me on Twitter at the KOT Show on Twitter, the Knick Time Show on Instagram, and Knick Time Show on Facebook. All right. So yeah, that's the show. That's the show, guys. Thank you guys for watching. For sure. And
can I say something real quick? Yeah. Lee, the takes have made me regress back to childhood. It made me remember a word that my uncle used to call people all the time. So now I done stole it and I'm using it all the time now. He didn't call people stupid. He would say stupidity. So now I'm on my I'm out here calling folks stupidities. Don't be part of the stupidity vibes, all right? Stupidity. Don't do it.
I saw some bum arguing with you on Twitter, man. I hopped in. I ended up arguing with him for like 3 days straight, yo.
Dang, what was that?
We were going back and forth forever.
I'm like, Lee, let him talk to himself. Lee was like, nah, he wasn't trying to hear it. He was trying to hear it.
It was too much fun, yo.
Lee does that for sport.
Gold medal in trolling, man.
Yeah, Lee does that for sport. You're not gonna tell Lee to stop. And it's like, what? He just sees go harder. That's how you translate it.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. That's exactly what happened. I was like, all right,
man, my eyes water.
I'm just gonna let it rock.
Yo, Black Needle says no book, Lee.
Oh man, I've read so many books lately. Let me organize my thoughts. I'll have one next episode.
All right.
I'm reading so much.
Yeah.
I'll give you all some lowdowns.
Well, I've been watching anime. I finally started watching Jujutsu Kaisen, and I'm like, wow. I'm like, Jujutsu Kaisen. Yeah, I've been loving that since it's been on Netflix. That's been great. So if anime heads, you can watch that if you want to. All right.
Oh, starting after this, take the rec.
Cool. All right, that's the show. Thank you guys for watching. Somebody said I enjoyed the content. Thank you guys for joining. I'm sorry. Last shout out because I haven't seen y'all in a while, so I want to make sure I shout you out. Black Needle, Knicks Nation TV, Jet for Life, Dave the Goliath. Who else? Sadu Berry, who's an NY Liberty fan. Gregory Lee, East End Brew, Nick Yak, Prezi the Boss, John Petit. Did I say it right? T. Williams. Everybody else is rocking with the show. Appreciate you, man. Thank you.
Could have been anywhere, but I chose to rock out with us.
There it is. Thank you guys for watching. And you know the drill as always.
Shout out the worldwide west. Everywhere we go, we leave a worldwide mess.
It's a mess out here in these Knicks YouTube streets. That's the show. We out here. Prezzies wants gunshots, so I'm giving y'all gunshots. Peace.